Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We are watching that COSATU presser that's about to get underway, and once it starts we will go there. But for now, on the 3rd of November 2018, Kasi Art Projects will be hosting the second edition of the All Muso Festival in Vosloorus. This event highlights the brilliance of backing singers who ordinarily would only be on stage supporting big act musicians and singers in the country. In most cases, the bands and the backing vocals behind these big names are never recognized, and we will have this conversation later, but right now we go live to that COSATU presser.
In the coming week, so the statement will be read by our provincial secretary, Comrade Tumisani Tagile, Nopala.
Yeah.
South Africa is listening.
It's still the morning. Good morning. We want to release a press statement from COSATU Gauteng. We'll read it and we will then be able to take questions if there are any other questions that will arise emanating from the press statement. As COSATU in Gauteng, we are very concerned and disappointed by conflicting messages from those that are deployed in government on the e-tolls. The ANC in Gauteng took resolutions against the e-tolls in its recent provincial conference. The Premier of Gauteng and the ANC chairperson has said on numerous occasions that he was against the e-tolls. The president of the ANC, while he was still the deputy president of the country, also indicated that a solution was required for the e-tolls. First, it was the Minister of Transport who contradicted the resolution of the ANC on the e-tolls, and now the Minister of Transport has joined in to defy the ANC policies of the ANC on this matter. These ministers must smell the coffee and realize that every time they open their mouth on e-tolls, the ANC loses hundreds of votes. COSATU is angry with the new finance minister's announcement in a midterm budget speech that government will continue with the current system of e-tolls, which represent a daylight robbery to the people of Gauteng. We think that the minister has already been captured by the dominant new liberal ideology within the Department of Finance. We call the president and the ANC to rein in these ministers who defy to toe the party line. We hope that the minister will bring in some fresh air and articulate a progressive and developmental perspective. However, he has decided to side with the rich at the expense of the poor and the working class in our country. We are quite convinced that he will continue to unleash war to the workers and the working class as part of the continuation of government policies to please capital and neoliberals. There are also threats as we speak to cut the public sector wages, and our experience has taught us that jobs of our members may also be on the line in this regard. We will not fold our arms and clap hands under such circumstances, and the working class should brave itself for serious battles that are lying ahead. We will continue to mobilize the society and the entire working class to remain vigilant and fight any attempts to downsize or right-size the public sector. We have also noted attempts by the Department of Transport and SANRAL to force our members and the entire people of Gauteng to pay for the e-toll bill through prosecution by the courts. It is our considered view that the current justice system can't cope with the criminal cases, and to add the e-tolling will just be adding an unnecessary burden to the already burdened system. We are still calling for the people of Gauteng not to pay for e-tolls and also not to buy the e-tax. We continue to reject the user pay principle as a funding model for the improvement of the roads, as in our view, government has sufficient resources through petrol levy to pay for the road infrastructure. The user pay model is and it will continue to suffocate our people in Gauteng and add an additional tax burden which will benefit foreign companies with little benefits to our economy. The government must continue to pay a special focus on developing a public transport system that will benefit our communities and the workers and the working class. We believe that we've got resources to achieve this objective. However, we lack the political will by the Department of Transport. The public transport system that is affordable, accessible, reliable, safe and intermodal is the only solution to the current challenges facing our economy. We think that investing in building and creating a public transport system and its infrastructure could help our economy to reindustrialize and contribute to the growth of the economy. It has a great potential to provide and create jobs for our people as compared to the tolling of Gauteng roads. We think that we have lost a great opportunities in this regard. We are hence excited that the plan to manufacture trains in the province of Gauteng, as recently announced, has been long overdue. We think that if we could also manufacture buses in our country, and Gauteng in particular, such could help to stimulate growth in our economy. We could reduce the level of unemployment and poverty. Our members still continue to be exposed to unsafe and unreliable transport system, as witnessed by a number of train accidents which occur every month and result in death of breadwinners. Many of our members currently are at the brutal receiving end of the failing transport system because they've been losing jobs because of late coming as a result of the unsafe and reliable public transport system. They are unable to sustain their families because of ever-increasing cost of commuting and the cost of living. Our members die on their way to work due to the unreliable and coordinated transport system. Gauteng as an economic hub of South Africa needs a working, accessible, safe, reliable, intermodal, coordinated, and affordable transport system. Our provincial and national Congress further resolve on intensifying the campaign against e-tolls and calling for the public transport system that is safe, reliable, accessible, and intermodal. The electorate in Gauteng have joined COSATU and demonstrated their rejection of the e-tolls. We have worked tirelessly to explain and rally all sectors of society behind this particular noble campaign. We are also encouraged that within the alliance there is a convergence in the rejection of the e-tolls in favor of the public transport system. We applaud the stand that has been taken by the ANC in this province and also its premier in Gauteng, which has been very consistent and principled in relation to this particular question. We will support him in defending the interests of our economy and its people. It is against this background that we have filed Section 77 for a stay away on the 2nd of November 2018, this coming Friday, for a march to deliver a memorandum to the President in Tshwane. This will be a protected strike. We'll also be having a campaign every month, starting from this month, to highlight the challenges that are faced by our members in regard to the public transport system. We'll, together with our alliance partners and other various sectors of the society, fight until the end, fight until the system has been scrapped. It is in this regard, therefore, that we're calling upon our members and we're also calling upon the public on Friday, on the 2nd, to join COSATU and its alliance partners as we take the march to the highest office of the country, so that we could be able to resolve this matter amicably. That's the end of this statement.
There's only gentlemen here. So gentlemen, questions?
From SABC. I just want to understand, have you at all tried to engage national government on this issue? I know that it was repeated during the midterm budget, but have you tried as COSATU to engage either the leadership within the ANC itself or national government with regards to your opposition to this issue? I know it's a long-standing matter, it's known, but with the recent comments, have you tried to engage them at all?
We tried, I think, sometime immediately when Minister Tito Mboweni was appointed as a minister. We took a march to his office, and we felt that this will be his priority issue. He agreed with us that this is a matter that needs to be prioritized, to be resolved, and he promised to meet with us within 14 days. Till today, we are still waiting for that particular engagement. Hence, we felt, therefore, that there will be no need for us to engage them, and up until such time that we remobilize the society, we remobilize our members in relation to this particular campaign.
And I think surely to be looked to be detrimental. We have an election coming next year, and we have one of the alliance partners taking to the streets over the issue over the issue of e-tolls. So won't this be detrimental to the campaign of the ANC towards the elections next year?
We can tell you that this march on Friday is not just only a COSATU march. The ANC, as we speak, is also busy mobilizing its members to join this particular march. The South African National Civic Organization is also, as we speak, mobilizing its people and its members to join this particular march. The South African Communist Party will also be participating in this march with its members. So it is not just only a particular fraction of the alliance that is engaged in mobilizing the society for this particular stay away on Friday, but all the component of the alliance in this particular province are at work as we speak. They are mobilizing to the best of their abilities to make sure that this particular march on Friday becomes a success. So we don't feel it as detrimental, but we think that it is to the benefit of the alliance to make sure that the people of Gauteng must understand that the alliance in relation to this question are united.
I think in amplifying this, what is detrimental, particularly in Gauteng, in relation to election, you will know that opposition parties have earmarked Gauteng, and Gauteng is now a playing ground. So the ETOL is detrimental to 2019 election, in particular for the African National Congress. But then as COSATU, we are not going to stand idle and not push our campaigns on the basis of the elections. We want those who are in government, those who are in government to listen and scrap the ETOLs, and this will be halfway in winning the elections in Gauteng next year.
But you're concerned that there are these different messages coming from these sectors?
Well, it shows that we deploy people to government and we deploy people to the state so that they can go there and transform the state and transform government to be responsive to the needs of the people. But what we have witnessed is that when people enter government, immediately they get transformed themselves and behave in the manner that is not helpful to the cause of the organization and to the cause of the society. That's our concern.
And you know, the Minister of Transport must also be informed that it's no longer like anybody who's in the public who can tweet and do everything else and speak as he wish and defying the party line. So he must know that he's in government. Now he has a responsibility of implementing party policies. So the president, the premier, and those who are in government must speak in one language. We no longer want it all. So that's the language that we want. There is no way in which people can be deployed in government from one party, but then they communicate different messages on one issue. So it cannot be.
Because people might argue that where are you going to get the money? And if you look in terms of the petrol levy already that is being paid by the public already, to just ring-fence 10 cents of that petrol levy can be able to service these debts. So there's no question whether we have resources or we don't have resources. The resources are there already. But the question is, how do you prioritize the current resources in making sure that these roads that they've been paid for, in any event, there's even evidence that the people that build these roads, private companies, first and foremost, they have colluded in building these roads. They've charged exorbitant what you call monies for these particular roads. Thirdly, the fact that in the main, each and every 1 rand that is collected, 93 cents goes to Austria and only 7 cents that remains here. It is on those bases also that we are saying these roads are not even beneficial. Paying this e-toll is not even beneficial to our economy because there's no even reinvestment of the resources that will be given to the Australian company to invest back in our economy. And we believe that if government can take over these particular routes, all the resources that are there, they can be reinvested back inside the country. And that can be able to make sure that we are able to maintain these particular roads, not by private entity, by government itself.
Yeah, maybe just to add to that, I think also government should be preoccupied by providing the public transport system that works, rather than the privatization of our land and privatization of our roads, because that's what it does with the model that is being touted for us to go and pay for this e-tolling campaign.
But to add in that regard, and we believe that this thing is quite very urgent, that government must focus in relation of provision of the public transport system. The trains, every month there's accidents of the train. And it is not the same ministers that use this public transport system. It is workers who get perished, who died each and every month precisely because of the incident that happened on the trains. If you look in terms of the what is called buses, which are subsidized by government, they are stuck every day. You can go anywhere, you'll find a Padco bus that are scraps that are getting stuck each and every day. And we believe that if government can be able to take all those resources and build its own buses, And we don't even want those buses to be manufactured either in Brazil or in Mexico. We do have capacity in this province to build these buses. And that money can be able to make sure that we reindustrialize our province. That money can be able to make sure that we are able to create employment for our people. Then for us to take money to Brazil and create employment in Brazil. Then for us to take money and create employment in Mexico. We've got a headache of large number of the people that are unemployed in this country. And this project of making sure that we invest in a public transport system, we have got a great potential to stimulate the growth of our economy in the province.
Okay. No questions? No. In the absence of further questions, the press conference is closed. Thank you very much for coming.
Let's continue just mobilizing and making sure people are aware of our march.
Okay, I shall just you want to close? See? But do you have confidence in the new Minister of Finance?
Well, I think the point that we are raising here.
Well, there you have it. We were anticipating that media briefing. Dumisani Dagila of COSATU talking about how they are going to go out to the highways and make the roads unpassable in response to Finance Minister Tito Mboweni's maiden medium-term budget policy statement that he delivered during the week in Parliament, where part of the emphasis was on impressing upon drivers to pay their e-tolls. And COSATU says we will have none of it. It's an unworkable system, and the working class should brace themselves for a battle